Have you ever had one of those games where everything just clicks, where every touch feels perfect, every pass goes exactly where you want it, and the whole game almost seems to slow down around you? You don't even have to think about what to do next. You just do it almost automatically. That feeling right there, my friend, is what's called flow state. And once you experience it, you never forget it. It's honestly addictive. Because when you're in flow, you feel completely unstoppable, like the game is moving around you rather than you chasing the game. But here's the problem. Most players don't know how to get into this state on purpose. They just stumble into it once in a while by accident and hope it happens again the next time they play. Today, I'm going to change that for you. I'm going to show you exactly how to enter flow state on command, step by step. By the end of this video, you'll know how to lock in, block out distractions, and perform at your absolute best every single time you step on the pitch. Let me start with a quick story. Back when I was younger, there was this one guy I used to play with. He was incredibly talented, but there was something different about him. No matter how intense the match was or how much pressure defenders put on him, he never seemed rushed. It was like he had all the time in the world, even when he was surrounded. I'd see defenders close him down, and somehow he'd just glide past them effortlessly, like they weren't even there. After one game, I asked him, "Bro, how do you do that? How do you make it look so easy?" He just smiled and said, "I don't really think about it. I just play." At the time, I didn't fully understand what he meant, but later I realized he was describing flow state without even knowing it. He wasn't overthinking his moves. His body was simply reacting naturally, like it was on autopilot. And that's when it hit me. If I could figure out how to trigger that same state whenever I wanted, my game would change forever. So what exactly is flow state? Flow is that moment when you're so locked in that everything feels effortless. It's like you're fully present in the game and nothing else exists. Time seems to slow down, your movements feel smooth and automatic, and you don't have to consciously think about your next move. You just do it. Scientists have actually studied this, and what they found is fascinating. They scanned the brains of elite athletes, players like Neymar, while they were competing. Most players' brains light up with tons of activity when making decisions on the pitch. But Neymar, his brain was quiet, almost completely still. Why? Because he wasn't overthinking. His subconscious mind was in complete control, letting his instincts take over so his movements flowed naturally. Think about when you first learned how to drive a car. At first, you were tense and nervous, right? You had to think about every single little thing. Check the mirrors, turn the wheel, press the brake. But now you don't think about any of that, you just drive. That's how flow works in football. Once you've trained your skills enough, they become automatic, freeing your mind to focus entirely on the game itself. Here's the thing though, and this might sting a bit. Most players never reach flow state consistently, and it's not because they aren't talented or capable, it's because they're constantly distracted. Our brains today are completely overstimulated. Think about how much time people spend scrolling TikTok or Instagram, playing video games late into the night, or checking their phones every few minutes. All of that non-stop stimulation absolutely wrecks your ability to focus. It trains your brain to constantly chase quick, easy dopamine hits, little bursts of pleasure and reward, and when your brain gets used to that, it becomes incredibly difficult to lock in and focus deeply on something like a football match. So if you ever feel like you're overthinking on the pitch, second-guessing yourself, or struggling to get into the zone, it's probably because your brain isn't in the right state to enter flow. But here's the good news. You can fix this. You can actually train your brain to enter flow state, just like you train your body to get faster, stronger, or more skilled. The first step is to reset your brain before you play. Think of it like warming up your mind. When you wake up on game day, don't immediately grab your phone and start scrolling through social media. That's the worst thing you can do. Instead, go outside for a few minutes, get some sunlight, and take a few deep breaths. It sounds simple, but this does two really important things. First, it helps regulate your dopamine levels so you don't start the day overstimulated. And second, it signals to your brain that today is different. Today is game day. If you want to take this even further, try a short visualization exercise. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on the pitch. Feel the ball at your feet. Hear the sound of the crowd or your teammates calling for the ball. See yourself playing at your absolute best. This simple practice primes your brain to focus completely when the match begins. Now, this next step might sound a little weird at first, but stick with me. It works. I call it the spawn method. About an hour before your match, find a quiet spot where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and imagine that you've just spawned on Earth like in a video game. You have no past, no future, no baggage. Nothing exists except what's happening right now in this exact moment. Forget about the goal you missed last week, that bad call from the referee, or anything going on outside of football. Let it all go. When you step onto the pitch, the only thing that matters is this game, right here, right now. This technique completely resets your mental state and allows you to be fully present from the very first whistle. Another key to entering flow is matching the challenge to your skill level. Imagine you're playing against a group of little kids. You probably get bored really quickly and start messing around, right? On the other hand, if you suddenly had to face off against top professionals, you'd probably feel completely overwhelmed and anxious. Neither situation creates flow. Flow happens when the challenge is just right, not too easy, but not impossible either. That's why training with players slightly better than you is so powerful. It pushes you to improve without crushing your confidence. So whenever you can, put yourself in environments that stretch your abilities while still being within reach. Now let's talk about external distractions, because this is something a lot of players overlook. If you've ever tried to play a match while you were stressed about school, work, relationships, or anything outside of football, you know how hard it is to focus. Your mind is split in a million directions and flow becomes almost impossible. Before every game, take a moment to clear your head. Remind yourself, whatever is happening outside of this field can wait. For the next 90 minutes, this game is all that matters. Some players even create a small ritual to help them lock in, like tying their boots in a certain way, listening to a specific playlist, or doing a quick breathing exercise. It doesn't matter what the ritual is, as long as it signals to your brain, it's game time, focus now. Here's another important point. Flow state only happens when you trust yourself. If you're constantly questioning your abilities or second-guessing every decision, you'll stay stuck in your own head. Think about Neymar or Messi when they dribble. They're not thinking, should I use my left foot or my right foot here? They've practiced those movements so many times that they don't need to think, they just react. The same has to be true for you. In training, focus on repetition. Drill your basic moves over and over until they're automatic. Then, when match day comes, let go and trust that work. Don't overthink it, just play. And here's something that might surprise you. The more fun you have, the easier it is to enter flow. When you're playing just to impress other people or to avoid making mistakes, you get tense and self-conscious. But when you play purely because you love the game, everything becomes smoother and more natural. So, before you step onto the pitch, remind yourself why you started playing football in the first place. Play like you did as a kid, for the joy of it. Flow state isn't some magical thing that only top professionals can access. It's a skill, and like any skill, you can train it. Here's a quick recap. Reset your brain before the game. Use the spawn method to get fully present. Match the challenge to your skill level. Eliminate external distractions. Trust your training. And finally, play for the love of the game. If you do these things consistently, you'll start to notice a massive difference. The game will feel easier. Your decisions will come faster. Everything will flow naturally. And when that happens, you'll know you've tapped into one of the most powerful states a footballer can experience, flow state. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And let me know in the comments. Have you ever experienced flow state while playing football? Share your story. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and remember this. The more you train your mind, the better your game will become. Now get out there and play free.